questions. Okay, so how's it gone with with your homework, with the packet and the writing and the exploration?
So I wrote a few of the flash drafts, um, and I left them in New York because I'm home now.
Okay.
So that wasn't very good, but I did like they were helpful, and like to just get like the ideas down. Um,
Okay. Did any ideas stick out in particular?
um, there was that there was the one idea about diamond painting
Okay,
that
diamond
I
painting.
yeah that I wrote about, and I liked that. Because
Nice.
a lot of what I did was I used a lot of metaphors and like similes, like to compare it to like my real life, like not my real life because that is my real life, but like to compare like the
Yeah,
act I'm in
yeah,
painting.
yeah. So your life apart from art, but your life in terms of
Yeah,
who you are as a student and a person.
yeah, because I'm also like I'm not an artsy person, but that's
Yeah.
one form of art that I have really fallen in love with, and it's kind of the same with school. And so I was connecting that back to like
Wow.
so
Okay.
and then I oh I looked at one of the videos that you sent me about the not I watched the one
Other,
about mental health, that one. I haven't gotten a chance to watch the other one yet though. Um
yeah. So there's a lot of gold in there. So um, so what we're going to do today is kind of use some of that, and let me share my screen here. I'm going to give you the 4 week overview and the 6 week overview
okay.
because I think it'll help you to kind of see kind of the overview, which is helpful. Let me see here. Yeah, so I was really working on this for a little bit, and so this will be available to you in Google Classroom. And so the we're going to try to align your story with top colleges. And I looked at some of their values. I didn't go on their website. I just kind of used AI to generate that, but we may need to check that. Um, so for week one, we kind of been through to week one already. Um, so we're going to dig into hopefully narrowing down a story by next week. So we'll try to narrow something down today and work on it to kind of scrutinize the different choices that you have in light of the colleges you're trying to attend and what they're saying they're looking for. And then so in week three, so what you want to do is maybe this week you'll start writing a quick draft. And if what I would do is actually look at those videos too, depending upon which of the stories you're going to want to focus on. And one of them was beauty. Um, the other was your health essay and discovering, who a nurse is. Um, and we're going to use some of these principles from Robert McKee to make sure, as I mentioned before, that you have you're avoiding the cliche and you're looking at naming your story value. And hopefully that's a value that is in your top three. And do you remember what your top three values were?
Health, creativity, and I think I don't
I thought
remember.
honesty. I
Yeah, I think
thought
honesty was there too.
creativity, health. and honesty. Like I'm just thinking to myself, if somehow you could tie in this idea of diamond painting to the two values of health and honesty, because it gets back to that idea of contradictions. Now, if you looked at some of the materials from the workshop, the 23-page document there,
Yeah,
it does talk about contradictions. It talks about struggles.
I saw that.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and then contradictions, yeah, great, are their way of saying kind of what I said in my own way, which was the negative of the negative and the depths of humanity. Especially as you look at the hero and how the hero is a flawed hero, right? That's um, because we know people are flawed, but if you can show how that has strengthened your life, that weakness is a strength in disguise, right? So these are things you can write down, perhaps if you're taking notes. I would, creativity, health, honesty. And what kind of story kind of brings everything together? Well, maybe diamond painting. So do you want to describe that for a second? Before you do, I just wanted to show you something. So I think it's called Kasugi art. A student made this in my last
Oh
school.
yeah, yeah. I've seen that. I've seen art like that.
I don't know if
Kintsugi.
that's the same idea, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah. Making art out of broken things. Yeah.
yeah, and then diamonds, if you think about a diamond, is it well, it gets made through a lot of pressure and it has to be taken out. It has to be clarified, if you will, right? So at first it may look like a rock. It has to be polished, has to be cut, and so it can reflect light. And so perhaps you can explore that analogy of of being a diamond. So talk to me a little bit about diamond painting because you mentioned it before.
Um. So it's basically let me. This is one of the things I made. Um.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's and each of like I don't know if you can see that. Like they're each little individual like um gemstones.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
So it's like it's a very tedious thing. You have to take a pen and like individually place them on. Like you can't really go two at a time, three at a time. You have to do it like one at a time, basically.
Hmm.
Um, and I mean, there's like different attachments to the pen that allow you to use like to do more at a time. But like for the like the section that I showed you, that was all like that was like a like it's supposed to be a flower bed, so it's like all different colors and stuff.
Yeah, you can't do them a bunch at once 'cause it's
Yeah,
different colors.
yeah. So
Oh,
that piece took me like half a year because I didn't have time to do like it all the time. So yeah, so that's basically what it is. But for me, it's like I found it at like a really rough part of my life, and it was very like it's something I could focus on. It's like something to just like regulate me, which helped a lot.
okay. Yeah, I'm writing this down. You found it in a rough time of your life. So as you're writing this, as you're saying this, you could write that down. I found it in a rough time of life. And these are, these nuggets that you can use to build around because they're little glimpses of truth, almost like um, writing the essay is going to be a little bit like diamond painting in a way, but bringing everything together into one happy picture. So, do you have a picture before you complete the painting of what it's going to look like, or is it something that you imagine from scratch and you don't really know what it's going to look like until it's all done?
So it has like each place of the gemstones like has like a number on it, and you have to like it's like they're like very very little circles, and I have to like place them where the letter corresponding to the gemstone is.
Yeah.
Does
Do
that
you
make
have,
sense?
do they give you an image beforehand, like almost like when you have
Not,
puzzles?
no, not really. I mean, it's on the
Okay, so
box, but like
pre-image. Okay. All right, so what I'm getting at here is perhaps so a pre-image, if you have one, or even if you don't, it's kind of or not, there's mystery there. So there's a bit of mystery when you're in the state where you had mental health challenges, right? And you had health challenges. It's kind of you're putting together your life. And how did it really come together for you? Like what caused that? Could be something you can talk about. Um, and I think it's going through that struggle that allowed you to break through to the next stage of it, which was to make something artful out of suffering, right? And that's I think a pretty powerful idea that you can write about. Um, so I see a lot of potential there. And here's the other thing. Um, so if you want to, how are you feeling now in terms of what are your thoughts in terms of, okay, I've got this health essay that I kind of like, but I kind of hate the very first one you sent me. I've got this beauty is in the eye of the beholder essay, which I like, and I have a kind of an exploration of this idea of diamond painting. Um, which one of those do you think has the most power for you, um,
I
and
think
seems that you would look forward to working on?
I think that the health essay still has the most potential, just because
Okay,
I'm going into nursing, I think it
yeah,
would work, especially because it would explain like discrepancies in my record. But I also think that I really want to, based on the what's it called, the feedback you gave me in that video, I think that I really want to see how my, the beauty essay turns out, just because I think that that has a lot of potential in it from the feedback that you said, like on how to cut it down.
yeah. What do you think it's missing that it needs to say if you're going to bring um, that essay?
I think it needs to focus a bit more on how I turned out after and how it's affecting my daily life now. But I think the first thing I need to do is focus on cutting it down, because if I don't have the words, then I can't do that. Like I can't add more if I don't have
Yeah.
any leftover words. But all the feedback you said about cutting it down, I think will help a lot.
So is that the video that you watched, or was it the video
Yeah,
on the health essay?
I watched it
Oh,
on the essay.
okay, on the beauty essay. Okay.
Yeah,
Potential, watched. Okay. Okay. Missing how it affects you now. Yeah, I think you could easily put that in. Um, okay, so let's do this. Let's bounce away from this for a minute because I feel like nothing in writing should be forced. Um, kind of needs to have uh, some more information here. Okay, so let's look at this document. And so, some things to think about here. Okay. It's going to be a more powerful essay if you can demonstrate, and I was reading through the materials, sacrifice. So that means something you've actually done to work towards these values. And that really, so let's talk about that for a second. What sacrifices, in terms of your time, sacrificing comfort, relationships, opportunities, or resources, um, can we list right here? So if it's, let's try to work around what works best for you in terms of writing it down first or discussing it, whatever works easiest for you, maybe jotting it down on paper. So go ahead and let me know what is your preferred method there.
Um, I can just write them down, I think.
Okay, go ahead and write them down. Um, and you can skim this list here, you know. So what times have you sacrificed? Is it something weekly? What comforts, you know, so when you actually engage in um, some sort of community activity or extracurricular activity, maybe it makes you feel uncomfortable. Maybe it's outside of your comfort zone. Um, have you had to limit your amount of friends? Have you turned down other things that you could have done that sounded like they were, you know, oh, I wish I could do that, but you made that sacrifice anyway? Um, and then what have you invested in terms of resources, learning, classes, mentorship, etc., in terms of resources? So I'll let you work on that and let me know when you feel that you're at a good place with that.
Okay. Okay.
All right, so what do you got?
Okay, so one thing is that like the comfort thing, like I joined like a few clubs that I joined because I was really interested in the clubs, but I had like like they were very collaboration um like focused,
Okay,
and I have a lot of I had a lot of social anxiety at the time. Um
got it. Yeah,
Also like distancing myself from a friend that was like very much like a bystander. Like she was the kind of person to never like pick a side because she doesn't really I don't know how to explain it. Like she would never have an opinion on anything, and then my opinions would be too extreme just because I am affected by said things. Like she wasn't any minority, and she was being like, "Oh, like your opinions are too extreme. Like you say like such like extreme things." And I'm just like, "You're you're white. Why are you? Don't do that." And like yeah, so that was one thing because she was not yeah. And then volunteering
so
at
okay, so got it. Yeah, go ahead. I'm
oh
listening.
sorry
No
then
worries.
volunteering at an animal shelter, even though like it took a lot of like time out of my schedule that I could have been using to like do anything else really. like choosing that over things that I cared about a lot at the time, like that any kid really cares about, like like their phone and stuff. Like I couldn't really be on my phone at the shelter. So
What was important to you in volunteering at the animal shelter?
helping the animals there because they're very like overcrowded, the one that I went to. So a lot of cats, kittens had to be like they would get sick, really, really sick. And they would have to be like put down um because they were just so sick. Like when I was there specifically, like there was this virus called Khaleesi um that was going around, and it's an airborne virus. So the moment that a cat with Khaleesi enters the shelter, it'll go through the vents and it'll like everything, and it's horrible. I saw a lot of there was this one group of kittens, um Sprite, Dr. Pepper, and Mountain Dew, and Sprite lost both of her eyes, and Mountain Dew and Dr. Pepper both lost an eye each. And I think Sprite
Oh,
eventually one of her, I think it was her tongue almost had to be amputated too, because Khaleesi basically there's also it causes it's an upper respiratory infection. It causes um ulcers on the tongue and in the throat, and eventually they can burst, and it just makes it like really hard to eat and all that. That's my cat had Khaleesi when she was younger. Um, I also got my cat from that shelter. She was one of the Khaleesi cats. So,
did that have anything to do with you looking into nursing?
um, maybe a small part for me. Looking into nursing was more so. I think I can connect it in the sense of like kindness and empathy, but I don't think it had like a direct impact on going into nursing.
Yeah, but you wanted to help animals and you cared about them, um, and you cared about the situation that they were going through with virus. Okay. Okay. And did you come up with anything else? Was that basically it?
That was basically all I could think of.
Yeah. Well, social anxiety, that is a sacrifice. And when you were, what kind of group was that? I mean, did you talk? I don't want to talk about anything necessarily in great detail that you already mentioned in the other parts of your application.
Yeah.
So especially if you're doing any of the supplemental um, questions, you're going to be able to focus there. So um, something to put a star by, perhaps, is sacrifices, and maybe wherever you're jotting down these different essay ideas, you do want to be sure that you jot down the word sacrifice because it does, writing the truth basically, um, that kind of proves your values, right? I mean, it's one thing to claim it, but if you can somehow talk about that in your essay, then you can add that dimension to it, right? So whichever of these essays that you decide to work on, um, I would highlight um, some of these things that you've given up, right? So facing your social anxieties. And I think, what has that taught you? Has that been a strength of yours? Has that been a weak area that has turned into a strength?
Um, I think yeah, definitely. I there was a certain point where I like could not talk to people like it was just so hard to even like think about talking to anyone. And now I'll just like I was just in New York, yeah, and we were at a concert, and the entire time I was just going up to people like, "Oh my God, your outfit's so pretty." Like, "Oh my God, like your hair is so cute, girl." Like, and my cousins were just so exasperated at me because like, why is this girl going up to every single person she sees But for me, it's like now, like I'm never gonna see these people again. I might as well like, even if I embarrass myself, if I ask, like if I make their day any better, I feel like that's a win.
Okay, good. How to use pressure. Okay. Yeah, I think resilience is important. Let's look at some of the values of these colleges. Um, I thought, let's see, Lehigh has Lehigh. All right, Lehigh. And I guess we could look at the website here, although I wouldn't think this would be off base. University. Let's take a look here about Lehigh. Ba-ba. About, okay, leadership, strategic plan, Bethlehem at the Lehigh Valley news events, inclusive excellence and belonging, jobs.
Maybe admissions.
Yeah, probably admissions. Built for tomorrow's challenges. Okay. We believe that with every challenge comes opportunity and the chance to show the world our tenacious drive and collaborative spirit. Okay. So there's collaboration right there. Bettering ourselves in the world along the way. Wow. So it seems like as you've helped yourself, you've really helped others and you multiplied that out. Um, okay. Future Lehigh. Collaboration comes up again. Our students come from across the globe and around the world and are dynamic, innovative, and collaborative. Um, okay. I don't want to spend too much time here, but I'm sure that you have a good idea
Yeah.
here and a good sense of that. Okay. Recognized for excellence and value, the university is the number one public institution in the Northeast. At Pitt, the best in the field will mentor you. Premier internship, research, and extracurricular opportunities are at your doorstep. Okay. 16 Pittsburgh campus schools and colleges. Is there a particular college in here that you are looking at?
Um,
Well,
no,
nursing is
it's
okay.
it's just the main campus for now.
It's main campus. Okay.
Yeah, I just want to get, I'm really hoping I can get into main campus. That's all, really.
Right. Okay. All right. Let's go back to this. Okay, so I'm going to do something here. I'm going to look at um, Oh, okay. I didn't break it down by the day. I kind of left it in here. Okay, that's cool. Story seeds right there. Our new goals for collaboration, creativity, world, problem solving, community impact, resilience. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's what keeps coming up for me, for you, is it is a story of struggle. That's in everything that you've told me so far. That's in the health essay, the beauty essay, not necessarily the diamond painting essay. Um, okay, commit to one story, Ratlands, arc, test or cliche. Okay. Um, all right. So I think what we should focus on is how to narrow this down. Um, and really, I would approach this one of two ways. I would talk more in depth about what we could do, what you could do with one of these essays, and talk about that for a while, and then flip over to the next one, and then see if we can really start to narrow it down. Um, and you may not really know until you actually write it, um, because you're. And I know from hundreds of essays and stories I've written that it's going to take a direction of its own. Um, I would say I'm going to give you kind of maybe a way to work on this. So let me show you what you could do. Um, by way of brainstorming. Okay, but let me look at this for a second here. So simplify, beat ordinary world, inciting incident. Yeah, I don't know that a story structure per se is going to be what we need here because the structure of a college essay, personal statement, is not necessarily a story, but it really is expressive writing. Expressive writing, you do two things. You you tell a story. You tell a story and you give information, right? Um, Stories are going to be what sells. So we're going to have to go with that. We're going to have to go with a story. Okay. But it's going to be slightly a little different than this happened on this day. It's more of it could be a, you could fast forward in this, right? So if you're talking about the nurse and you're talking about what happened to the doctors, you're basically telling me about the past, and then you fast forward to when you were in the hospital. So it's so don't think of a story in terms of, okay, one day this happened, and then the next day that happened, or this all happened one day and all got nicely resolved. Um, but it's more of giving you a glimpse of who you are. Yes, we want to talk about something that you're after, that you want, and what's prevented you from doing that, and how you turn that around. Okay. Um, but the second part is also very important. Your ability to reflect upon it. So expressive reflective writing is what we're talking about. Okay. Have you read any sample essays from that have been accepted to colleges?
Yeah.
You have.
Um, the
Okay.
John Hopkins
Yeah.
has a like a
They've
page.
released.
Yeah, and they release like the top five essays each year.
Okay. All right. Is that kind of what you saw in those? You
Yeah.
saw somebody telling a story, but not necessarily of events that happened in 1 week or 1 month or even 1 year, but it's kind of like this is how I
Over time.
developed through this event that happened. Right.
Like
Okay.
some of them were spanned over like their entire life. So it's like
Yeah. So in other words, what we can build around is a theme. And I think that's the key to everything. So what do you think the theme is here? So I'm looking at social anxiety. I'm looking at collaboration. I'm looking at resilience. I'm looking at the emotional, being fragile, um, being depressed, being down on oneself, doubting oneself, um, hiding it, being vulnerable with it, meeting a mentor. Um, if you want to say that. Now, I don't mean that this nurse and you kept in touch and you meet once a week at Starbucks for coffee. I mean a hero, somebody that taught you something that stays with you, right? Could be somebody that you met on the street corner one day in your life, and that person has taught you something for the rest of your life, right? Because I think that that's actually the key to success out of everything. When students have good teachers, it's okay. Good schools, that's okay. Feedback, it's okay. But when students actually have a mentor in the class, not mentor necessarily, but a peer, um, that predicts success more than anything else. Like their immediate peer group, the person closest to them, right? So in a way, you've collected these experiences, and perhaps your art is your mentor. Your art kind of held you together, right? It was during a difficult time. So I'm throwing a lot out at you.
Yeah.
Um, I'm throwing a lot out at you. But see, what I'm trying to do here with you is in ex exposing all this and these ideas, not necessarily in the way that you can say, oh, it fits like this, it fits like that. Kind of like a chaotic fashion of a big puzzle piece, is that hopefully when you look at your draft and you write it this week, or both drafts, I think I would write two. That's what I would do.
Okay.
It's almost like these are the requirements in your mind. So if you absorb these and you understand these principles that you are telling a story of struggle, how you overcame that talks about who you are, then when you are faced with a particular writing choice, should I talk about this? Should I talk about that? And it doesn't meet these requirements of, see what I'm saying? Of talking about your mentor, how you turn things around, how you learn to collaborate, how you had social anxiety, then it doesn't get to stay,
Yeah.
right?
Sorry, I am processing all this.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Um, so I want you to take some time and maybe process for a few minutes. So write some stuff down. Write down some ideas or some notes. Hmm.
Oh, do you want me to give you edit access to those?
If you can give me yeah, that would be fine. That'd be great.
Okay. If you refresh it, it should work.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm not going to make any changes here right now, but I appreciate that. And then if you could do that for the other one too. Let me see here. Yeah. Hmm. How that's it. Okay. Give it a theme. Hmm. Okay. Let me do something. I do a little bit of background work here. Let's see.
I can just keep writing, right?
Yeah, that's fine. Just keep writing. I'm gonna do some exploration right now. Hmm. Let me see. Okay. Well, would you like to look at what I come up with? It
Yeah.
wasn't really me. It was more of my I'll show you. First of all, do you need more time? And we can take some extra time if you want.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Okay.
I was stuck on something anyways. I just didn't just put it random things.
So what I I don't like AI in terms of okay, doing writing, but in terms of helping organize these various pieces. So what I explained, and I've got some stuff for you that perhaps you can look at. Maybe you can change it. Um, so I told it about kind of like some of the things you've given me and some of the values and some of the things we talked about. And then so it gave me some stuff, but then I didn't really kind of like it because I thought, well, maybe if you're applying to Lehigh, you're not going to necessarily be in a nursing program the first year, right? Aren't you going to be doing general education classes?
Um, it's probably Lehigh's a bit weird because they don't actually have a nursing program. They have like a
Okay,
combined program with other universities. So I'm not really sure about Lehigh, but it'll be a bit
okay.
weird. But with Pittsburgh,
At,
yeah.
okay, right. Yeah. And Pittsburgh is the one that's further away
Yeah.
from home. Um, all right, let's do this. I'm going to just give this to you. I know I keep scrolling back and forth, but I'm going to drop this in our classroom and I want you to just use it to maybe give you some ideas. But the bottom line, I'd like you to, to quickly, in an hour, just go crazy on this and write down like maybe one day, just write the rough draft for one of these, and the next day write the rough draft for the next.
Okay.
Don't worry about how long it's going to be. Let's see here, week two.
Like a really, really
I'm gonna
rough draft. Should I edit it a little bit? Or should I just
yeah.
like
Don't edit. Don't worry about spelling. Just get it out. Get it out of your system.
okay. And I
Um, but
just pick any prompt, any of the prompts that I wanted.
so I'm going to give you everything here. I'm going to show you what I had generated. Some ideas, some outlines for two possible divisions of your. This is a very long title here. I realize that. Um, let's do this. Create a doc. Actually, I don't even like that. What I'm going to do instead, let's do that. Let's kill that. Create an assignment. I like that better. Let's see here. Week two. Um, all right, nice. Here we go. Doc. All right, I'm going to jump back to this. Copy that. Boom, boom. All right. So I use Chat GPT here. And okay. Okay. So there's some preliminary stuff out there. And don't worry, I'm gonna look at this for a second with you, but I first want to um, do something real fast. Um, do this. All right, get rid of that. Okay, perfect. And then I'm going to say option, which is going to be beauty, self worth, Oh, okay. There's that one. Make a copy for each student right there. And we're going to do another one right here. Doc. Okay. I think, let's see. So kind of paste final note. There we go. Um, hmm, I'm going to pick this up. That way you have this kind of like directional stuff in both of these essays.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, there you go. So each of these has a pretty, it's kind of like a standalone here. Although, let me do this as well. Okay. There we go. I like that. Okay. So read through it. It's basically it it knows what we're trying to do. Basically, it has refined core value spectrum. It gives you an idea here. I would encourage you to double or triple the amount of words if you have to. Don't worry about that. Um, don't stifle your creativity. And I also I'll jot this down. Don't worry. I'm gonna put some additional directions in here because I want to be really careful that you don't feel like you're in a straitjacket here, like this is overly scripted. Because when you're done with it, I think one of the things we'll look at is finding those moments. I really would say cry-worthy, cry-worthy moments. Not now, what I mean by that is, okay, you're going to write this draft, you're going to have these sections in there, you're going to reflect upon it, you're going to do all that kind of stuff right there. Okay. Um, no, I shouldn't stop sharing. Let me keep sharing. But I would say that you're probably going to feel at the end of this that's very dry, like it's very formulaic, but at least you'll be able to kind of see what these essays have. And then from there, we can do a heart check, HEART, to see, does this really move you? Does this really ring true to you? The only way to know this is like the cry test. So if you so when you revise it and you're saying, okay, well, I'm going to say to you, let's be even more specific. Find a moment. What did the nurse sound like? Right? What did you feel like? How did you react? How did this change you in the coming months? Right? What did you do differently? So you may not write that down the first time. We might not see that until next time. When you read this to me next week, right? Both of these. So we'll spend about 15, 20 minutes on each of these next time. Let me write this down, 15 to 20 minutes on each. And you'll read it to me and then I'll ask you questions, right? And then we'll do that kind of heart check and we'll try to fix the pieces that are missing and we'll be able to look systematically also to say what's missing. Um, Okay, but it has a good structure. So hook, background rising action, turning point, reflection, and connection, right? Um, so just some ideas here. And I wish I had more time because what I would show you, and I do have extra time if you do, um, but I think we need a break at any rate. There's a way that I brainstorm that absolutely kind of helps my right brain. The is it the right or left brain that connects and sees the patterns and everything? That part of the brain that actually dreams at night and gives us rich symbolism and puts everything in a nice, beautiful package. That's the part of the brain that I think really produces the best writing. But there's a technique to that. Um, so what I usually do is I'll say, okay, and I'll show you how it works. Active dominant audiences script. Okay, I can't use that piece of paper. So do you have a few minutes?
I have another class after this.
Okay, that's
Sorry.
so what I'll do is I'll record a short video. I'll try to keep it as short as possible.
Okay.
But there's a way in which you can cluster. You can draw a circle on a page, um,
Yeah.
basically, and you put words inside the circle, and you draw this ever-growing web of lines and circles that connect. And it's just a way of spilling all the information out there. So, all right, I'll let you go.
Oh,
But all right,
thank you
I'll
so much.
send that through in
Um,
WhatsApp.
for the two essays, it should be the beauty one and the nurse, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Make sure I
Yeah.
got that. Okay. Thank you
Yep.
so much. Have a good
You're
day.
welcome. All right, take care.